Hey guys, how's it going? Seth here. Hope you're doing well. I got to thinking a while back, I'm always kind of on the lookout for things that can sort of reduce my tax liability and things like that. You probably are too. Who isn't, right? It's not that giving away money to charity is like the number one most effective way to do that, but it is one tool you can use, especially if you are somebody who has any kind of disposable income. Doesn't even have to be a lot. What I wanted to do in this video, and I've also got a blog post, you can find it at retipster.com/charity. It's just a list of a number of charities that I know about and that I have personal experience with, and also charities that I've heard about through others in the RE Tipster community. It's kind of thing where if you live in a first world country, chances are you have money to give away. Really, any amount can make a big difference. If you're somebody who wants to help, but you don't really know what to do, or you don't have anything that you firmly believe in, this might give you some ideas. So the first one that I have on my list, actually the first two they kind of go hand in hand. They're different organizations, but they do a very similar thing. The first one is called World Vision. It's a pretty well-known charitable nonprofit. It's been around for decades. And I think probably what they're most well-known for is their child sponsorships, but they also help in a lot of other ways. They do like emergency disaster relief. Something that I think is really cool, actually, is their gift catalog. I remember the first time I discovered this years ago. It was actually my family did. And we kind of got to this point where we don't really need to be buying each other gifts and stuff that we don't need and that we might not even really want. Why don't we just use this gift catalog and give away stuff that is like desperately needed by people who are like in extreme poverty, people who are in really, really nasty situations, and money that we might just like almost treat like throwaway money would literally change their life. Why don't we do that instead? And so we got this gift catalog, and it's really cool because there's a bunch of different ranges of cost to these things. If you have more money, obviously you can buy something that's more expensive, like whether it's animals or food or coats or bedding or housing or child protection. And by the way, if you happen to work at like a big Fortune 500 corporation or any giant company, a lot of employers will match this kind of gift as well. So like whatever you give, let your employer know about it. There's usually a special form you can fill out and they will donate the exact same amount to the same nonprofit just because you are. Just another thing to keep in mind. But World Vision just does a really good job. I've sponsored a child through World Vision for the past 10 years now. And it's been awesome because I get to write letters to her. I get pictures of her every single year. I get to send her pictures of us. And, a lot of these kids, sometimes they're orphans. Like they literally don't have parents. Other times they do have one or even two parents, but like still it's extreme poverty. Like it's a bad situation. Like they can't afford food or clothing. It's like poverty that's on a different level that we don't even really comprehend. And like literally any amount will go a long way over there. They've also got this economic empowerment thing where it's kind of like microloans, but I hesitate to say microloans because you don't actually get the money back. You just gift it and that's it. And I believe these loans do actually get paid back, but they get paid back to World Vision, and then World Vision can decide how to reappropriate that money. But the idea is like you can find specific causes or small businesses that need money. In a lot of these countries, people are much more entrepreneurial than they are in the US, for example, where a lot of people have jobs and all they need is a little bit of seed capital, and that will go a long way. So check out World Vision. Another one, again, it's very similar as Compassion International. My wife and I have supported several kids through this site for a long time. And again, very similar thing where you can go through this catalog, see all kinds of kids who desperately need help. And the cool thing is, it's not that expensive. I think the monthly cost is $38 a month. At least that's what it was last time I checked. Usually what I'll do is I will just pay for the entire year at once, which I think comes out to $450 something. So it's not nothing. It takes some financial commitment to sponsor a child and stick with them for years and years on end. But it's so rewarding and it's fun because, again, you get to write letters to these kids. You hear from them. They hear from you. You actually get to know them. And there's other opportunities to give them like a family gift beyond the monthly commitment. So you could give them money so they can like buy a little bit nicer clothes or have food or a nicer bed to sleep in instead of sleeping on a dirt floor. Like we're talking about very basic needs that these children don't have. And a lot of these kids, if they're not sponsored, like they flat out don't get an education And when you don't get an education, in most cases, that translates into a lifetime of poverty. They're going to have a very poor, difficult life. And by giving them the gift of an education, it just goes such a long way and changes not only their lives, but like their children and their children's children. And this is something that in the US anyway, I just don't think we really get it, because we're all kind of given an education for the most part, like it's paid for. Even if we don't consider it to be like an amazing education, it's something, and it gets us on our feet, and it can help us survive and even thrive in our economic system where opportunity drips from the trees. But in many places around the world, like, there literally is no opportunity, especially if you don't have an education. So it really just breathes hope into a lot of these lives that would otherwise be hopeless. So it's just an amazing thing to be part of this. If you're looking for a really rewarding, fun thing to give money to, totally check out Compassion. If you're looking for some other solid charities that are more along like the real estate line of things, be sure to check out Habitat for Humanity. That's a very well-known one that's been around for years. It's gotten a lot of good PR. Basically what they do is they will build new houses for families that need them. And I believe even like restore and improve houses, that kind of thing. It's pretty cool. And another one I hadn't even heard about until this week is this one called MBA Opens Doors Foundation, that provides the comforts of home to families in crisis through their home grant program. And they also provide mortgage and rental payment assistance grants to parents and guardians caring for a critically ill or injured child, which I have not personally dealt with that, but I can only imagine just the overall horror and difficulty of having to do that while also trying to work and make a living and all that stuff. So if you have any personal experience with that, or if you know anybody who is going through that, this could be one that pulls on your heartstrings and is worthy of your donation. So be sure to check them out as well. There's also this one called Family Promise. This is one that I just heard about this past year because my church is involved with them. And the whole idea behind this one is to prevent and end family homelessness by providing prevention services before families reach a homelessness crisis, and shelter if they do become homeless, and stabilization programs once a family has secured housing to make sure that they actually remain independent. So it's a really cool one. These guys have affiliates all over the country, so chances are wherever you are, there's an office nearby that can impact your area as well. There's a bunch of other ones, like I said. Again, go and check out retipster.com/charity. And one final one that isn't exactly a charity, so it's kind of a cheat, but I still think it's worth mentioning, especially if you are a high net worth individual or just have like a ton of money to give away and you want to do it now, but you don't necessarily know where to give it to. Like, you don't have a detailed plan of where it ought to go. But again, you still want that tax deduction this year. You can do it through this donor-advised fund called National Christian Foundation. There's also one called the Barnabas Foundation, which I think is basically the same thing. I don't have a whole lot of experience with this one, but I do have an account with National Christian Foundation. And the whole idea with this is you can donate, say, I don't know, like if you had $100,000 cash, and you don't necessarily want to like dump that right into a small nonprofit because you don't know if they can handle such a huge donation all in one lump sum. Or, say if you had 500,000 or a million or millions. I mean, you name it. The idea is to be able to funnel the money into this, and you get the tax write-off in that year when you put it there. But you can sort of decide, when and where you want to send that money in the future. So say, if you had 500 grand, and if you wanted to give 50 grand per year to any donation of your choice, you can tell it to do that. And even though that money is actually being given away in future years, you still get to get that tax deduction in the year when you put the money into this fund. So it's one of those things where either if it's because you don't know where you want it to go yet, or you don't want to put it all in one place immediately, this just makes it really easy to manage that and still get the tax write-off when you want it. And again, it doesn't have to be this one. I think basically if you were to Google donor advised fund, say if you didn't want it to be a Christian one for some reason, these are just the only ones I know about, but there's plenty of options out there. But this is the kind of thing you might want to look into if you're lucky enough to have tons and tons of money and you're not sure where it all needs to go right now, but you probably will have a plan in the future. This is one way to do that. Again, go ahead and check out retipster.com/charity. And you can see a lot of other options out there. And by all means, if you know of a great nonprofit or a charity that's doing awesome work, I'm sure there's thousands of them out there that I don't even know about. Feel free to post it in the comments beneath this video and let me know what they are. And also, feel free to go through the other ones that other people are posting. And if you see one that you recognize and that you like, give their comment a thumbs up. And maybe we can kind of vote on each other's favorite nonprofits and see which ones rise to the top. I'm just honestly interested to see what the best ones are out there and which ones people like the most. But yeah, I hope you found this at least somewhat interesting and informative. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.